Mysore is growing fast. The city is pushing past its traditional borders as new capital flows in and development expands outward. The heaviest concentration of this new real estate wealth is shifting straight south, moving directly down the Udbor and Karakola corridor. This brings us to Mysooru Layout. Located right in Udbor, this specific development spans 9.21 acres and is divided into exactly 169 individual sites. Buying land on an expanding edge like this creates a very specific decision point. You have to figure out if you're making a smart, early adopter move before prices peak, or if you're prematurely parking your capital in an isolated area. That is where the team at 369 Samruddhi Property Advisor comes in. They specialize in cutting through the marketing noise to strictly vet the legal and financial realities of properties like this. Standard real estate pitches often label a plot as universally good or entirely bad. We don't do that. Instead, we use a scenario match framework to look at the exact data and determine if this layout actually aligns with your specific financial goals. This objective approach prevents a common mistake, buying a perfectly legal, well-built property that simply does not fit your timeline or strategy. When you look at developing peri-urban markets in India, the baseline risk is extremely high. Unapproved revenue land is everywhere, and buying it often leads to stalled construction and tied-up funds. Mysuru Layout's primary defense against that risk is clear on this official schematic. This shows the exact grid lines and site dimensions, all backed by a formal MUDA approval. The second layer of compliance is shown here on the Karnataka Real Estate Regulatory Authority certificate. This active RERA registration legally binds the developer to their promises through December 2025. Practically, these approvals mean two things. Your land titles are guaranteed to be clear, and you are immediately eligible to secure financing from major banks. These legal approvals also mandate heavy physical infrastructure. This aerial view shows the developer has already built out the paved internal roads and allocated park spaces to stay in compliance. The trade-off here is straightforward. You will pay a higher premium price per square foot to clear these legal hurdles than you would for unapproved plots sitting a few miles away. Investors in this layout are making an intentional choice. They are giving up upfront capital savings to ensure their asset is secure and highly liquid when they decide to sell or build. The actual monetary value of this land is driven by the heavy industrial expansion happening right next door in the Karakola region. Looking at this satellite map, you can trace the proposed Karakola-Jayapura road. It maps a direct 6.5-kilometer line from the Mysuru Layout straight into the Karakola industrial hub. This grid breaks down the capital flowing into that exact zone. We are looking at billions of rupees from major players, including a 2,400 crore Asian paints facility and a 500 crore Kingswood plywood plant. This concentration of factories creates a predictable economic ripple. Incoming workers will need places to live, virtually guaranteeing future housing demand and steady rental yields in the immediate area. But because this is an active growth corridor, the micro-market is heavily under construction. You will have to deal with commercial vehicle traffic and an environment that is a long way from feeling like a polished suburb. This makes it a delayed gratification play. You have to tolerate the noise and the dust of a developing industrial zone today to capture peak capital appreciation a few years down the line. So what if you want to build and live here right now? We have to look at the immediate livability metrics. For families, the foundational educational needs are already in place. This graphic shows the established institutions nearby, specifically Seshadripuram Institute in Karakola and MIT College in Tondavapura. For transit, the future roadmap is aggressive. The state is pushing the proposed MDR road and planning a massive 65 crore rupee second train terminal right at Karakola. However, looking at the bottom row of this chart, you can see the contrast with today's reality. Until that 65 crore terminal is finished, current residents rely on the existing highway network and city buses that run on 15-minute intervals. This is what we call infrastructure latency. The mega projects are funded and planned, but they require patience. If you move in tomorrow, your commute will depend on older existing roads. The reality is that families have the schools they need right now, but daily commuters must be willing to endure this infrastructure gap until the region's larger projects are actually completed. Now we have to filter all of this raw data through our scenario match framework to identify who should actually buy a plot here. Path 1 is for the 5-year hold investor. This is a perfect match. These buyers can leverage the tight legal security of MUDA and RERA to safely park their money, passively riding the value boom created by the Catacola industrial zone over a medium to long time frame. Path 2 is the local workforce buyer. This is also highly effective. Professionals already working in the Nanjangud and Catacola areas get a legally sound home base with short commutes and existing schools for their kids. Finally, Path 3 is the downtown traditionalist, a buyer looking for a quiet, fully matured, walkable neighborhood right now. If you demand immediate access to Mysuru's heritage core without the noise of construction, this layout will frustrate you. But if you are a buyer prioritizing pure economic growth over immediate convenience, the data clearly shows this property will heavily reward you. The final verdict is clear. Mysooru Layout is not a speculative gamble. It is a highly regulated, legally secure asset tethered directly to undeniable industrial expansion. But determining the exact timing and whether this specific plot fits into your broader portfolio requires a personalized market assessment and direct legal verification. That is why you should contact the experts at 369 Samruddhi Property Advisor. They will give you end-to-end guidance, from coordinating on-the-ground site visits to securing your bank loans. The most profitable real estate investment isn't achieved by just finding a good piece of land. It happens when you buy land that perfectly aligns with your specific financial timeline.